Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Right. The final question comes in from Nikolaj Lindeberg, who says, "Hi guys, Napoli versus Parma, what a game. Many blaming ADL for the transfer of Osimhen not getting done, but what about his agent Roberto Calenda? Shouldn't he have done better to find a club? After all, it's about 8 months ago that Osimhen expressed that he's not going to stay at Napoli. I think Roberto messed up big time with his stupid expressions and not doing his job. I'm not always a fan of ADL's decisions, but in this case, I actually think that the other is to blame. And what about Al Hilal and Chelsea? How they splashing money after players that now aren't even playing, but when it comes to Osimhen, who's one of the best strikers in Europe, they won't even pay him his salary. ADL went and got the most of the players Conte needed, even if Osimhen wasn't sold, yet he's acting very not ADL-like. Allegri, when asked about the Pobega, I don't know him. Who is he? Is that an English word? I forgot. It's been too many years. Thanks for the Pogba. Thanks again for a great pod. Kind regards, Nikolaj." Right. I think it's an issue of all of the above. As for Chelsea not being able to pay his wages, it's a very simple reason for that. They just can't because of the rules put in place, isn't it?
Well, that's a complicated one with Chelsea. I mean, they're going to be. Listen, God, this is. Let me try and explain this as briefly as I can with Chelsea. So, Chelsea are going to be investigated for breaking financial regulations, which they obviously have in reality, because in the last 2 years they've spent almost 1.5 billion euros on new signings. They've given out ridiculous contracts, but what they've done is they've done lots and lots of accountancy tricks with amortization, where they've given their new signings ridiculously long contracts. Most of their players have got the majority of their squad have got 7+ years contract, 7-year plus contract.
Mad.
Nicholas Jackson has just signed the renewal for a 9-year contract until 2033, which is the longest contract in football that a current player in football has. 9 years. It's insane. There's a couple of players that have got contracts, Renato Vega and another of their new signings, I can't remember the other guy's names, who have got contracts till 2032. And they've got, I did a story on this the other day, that's why I remember. And they have 15 players with contracts until 2031. I mean, it's insane. They're doing that to bypass the financial fair play regulations, because it means that they can amortize the transfer fee over a ridiculously long contract every year, divide the transfer fee by the length of years of contract. So Nicholas Jackson's transfer fee of 40 million or whatever it was will be split over 9 years. So do the maths. So that's like 4 million a year or 4 million a year or something like that. So they've basically done that. So that's one way they get away with it. The other way they've been getting away with it is they've been selling off assets to sister companies. The Todd Bowley and the consortium, Blueco, they are. So they've been selling like the hotels owned by Chelsea, like the Chelsea official hotel and the women's team's ground and all this stuff. They've been selling all the assets to basically sister companies to bypass the rules. So it's ridiculous. So anyway, to come to to answer your question. With Chelsea, why they didn't buy Osimhen? Because his contract is so high, like I think it's 10 million euros a year net at Napoli. It's very difficult for a contract that high for them to basically do these kind of accountancy tricks with, because it's so high. The salary, it goes on every single year, and it would be too high to put that every single year. Does that make sense, Nima?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Because that's net. That's not gross. So it would be like, what, 20 million or something like that. Yeah, 18 million a year or whatever. So they only ended up offering like half of that, basically. Because that's all that they could afford to put on the books to still get around the system, if you know. So yeah, but I do agree on Roberto Calenda, who he's now sacked apparently.
Yeah, he has. I saw that
He's
too.
now sacked his agent. So Osimhen clearly blames him for one of the reasons why Napoli didn't sell Osimhen. It's a complete mess, and I think there's a few parties to blame, including Osimhen himself, including his agent. Obviously, the Chelsea deal didn't happen because of the salary. The move to Saudi Arabia to Al Ahly apparently reportedly didn't go through because they had a fee agreed for like 70, 80 million, something along those lines. And then late in the day, there was a request for an extra 5 million. I don't know whether that maybe commissions were partly to do with that. Maybe it was commissions that was asked for. It's not. We don't really know. We don't know the inside of that deal. Maybe it was the agent was asking for a commission, or maybe the commission was a large chunk of that 80 million originally, and then maybe Napoli asked for more because there was commissions. But we don't know. I'm assuming maybe that could be part of it. But either way, if you're the agent of Victor Osimhen and you can't get your client a transfer after it's been known for almost a year that your player that you've got to get your player a transfer. It's been clear since last year that your player's got to move. The player wants to move, and you can't get him a transfer, and you've basically got a year to find him a transfer. I'm sorry, that's a huge failure from the agent. Huge failure, regardless of all these other circumstances that have come about. He's absolutely right to sack him. Wouldn't you agree, Nima?
I have nothing more to add. I think you just covered everything. The only thing I want to add is I think Aurelio de Laurentiis certainly hasn't helped either. And what I mean by that is last summer, not this summer, but last summer, the way that he screwed up led to Victor Osimhen being forced to pay Osimhen these wages that the club can't afford, which gave away all the leverage that he's so usually very brilliant at wielding in a negotiation. And it's like no words. Like it's so sad because he was so brilliant in everything he did before that. But yeah, I say this is I say this is just basically continuation of last of last season's screw up, and it's like it's this is what happens when you mess up at that level. It has repercussions for many seasons. Like, for example, when Inter messed up with Lukaku, trying to bring him back, it screwed them over. They ended up with Arnautovic. Same thing with Correa. Like, Italian clubs don't have margins of error, and when they screw up, the ramifications of it goes on for years.
Also, ironically,
this is Napoli's worst.
I agree on De Laurentiis. He's absolutely very much to blame, and ironically, given him that massive contract for a year, for 10 million a year, also made it much, much more difficult to sell him because Osimhen's demanding 10 million from everyone, and everybody now, for reasons we've explained, is difficult for even Premier League clubs to pay that 10 million. It's because of, they've got to abide by the financial rules. So that given that contract was actually a really stupid move. Like, why did you need to give him that contract? You were going to sell him at the end of the year anyway. So why give him that contract? Do you know what I mean? It's not like giving him that contract actually motivated him to play well for the rest of the season, because he wasn't motivated. We saw that when he wasn't injured. He was injured a lot, but he was completely demotivated. He was barely trying at all last season. His head was completely gone. So what was the point of giving him that salary? And now he leaves Napoli completely pissed off with the club anyways. He's not left on good terms either. So what was the point? You haven't sold him to appease him anyway. You'd have been better off keeping him in that salary and then said to him, you know what? If we sell you for over an X amount of money, we'll give you a part of the fee. They'd have been better off doing that.
No, it's that's fair enough. It's a crazy situation. It absolutely is, and it's been mishandled by pretty much everyone involved, to be honest. And let's not forget, Osimhen did not handle this very well either. His meltdowns on Instagram Live have not exactly made him easier to sell.
No.
Again, talking about how to handle crises and how to handle criticism, and how, we're talking about earlier with Leao, like he didn't exactly. This is the reason the biggest clubs in the world didn't sign him,
and his injury record as well.
Yeah, but the injury is, that's fine. That's always.
It's not his. That's not necessarily his fault.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
That's a reason.
No, but I mean,
that's a reason why.
We're talking about someone who has time and time again shown to be a loose cannon, and people don't want to make big investments in people who are loose cannons. That's just how it is. Right or wrong, that's the reality of it, and that's so sad.
Yeah.
But it's quite a mess. It's quite a mess, and it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing ends up. Because Galatasaray now have one of the most amazing attacks. It's like the Serie A All-Stars. They have Icardi, Mertens, and Osimhen. Like, dude, it's crazy. And they've got Ciro Immobile at Besiktas too. Serie A All-Stars is attacking wise. Right, that's all the time we had this week. Another almost 2-hour episode of the Q&A pod. This is because you guys send in such great questions and some really interesting talking points which we want to really delve into. So please do keep sending in your questions on Patreon, preferably via DM on Patreon. I know there's been some problems with that. It's Patreon who are updating their bloody platform, and it absolutely sucks. So I'm with you guys on that. But it has been better. They've made some changes, but you should be able to find the DM messaging service. If not, ask in the chat. People are so helpful. I love the chat. People just help each other out and have great discussions in the Patreon app. So yeah, please try to send in your questions there, or if not, on DM on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or even email. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have time for this week. Take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, ciao ciao.